We're back for another week of Trust Sports. Got my guy Liam in the building. What's good, Liam?
What's up, Lee? I wanted to ask first, before we get into anything, how you are. I know it's been a couple of days, but the podcast curse reared its ugly head yet again. Just
Lives
want
on,
to see how you're feeling.
bro. We want to talk about depression. I watched the entire Notre Dame game again because I needed some happiness. But that brought a lot of light into like what we'll talk about with Ohio State. After the game, my brother was here. I kicked my brother out, and I went straight to the gym. I don't know what I would have done, and I had to work out and kill myself. And then once I got to the gym, I was able to watch. Just the only game I watched this weekend was the Alabama game, and then the end of the Eagles game. I just couldn't watch football. So yeah, it's been a rough one, bro. It's been a rough one, and we're recording this at 5:30, so we don't know. No matter what, these next 2 weeks are gonna suck. We'll talk about it, but we don't know where we sit. But yeah, I'm feeling the Liam like effect right now.
I was going to say, I think you were texting me that you were just watching the Notre Dame highlights, and I was like, oh, man, he's in that stage of the depression, just watching back the old games and the good times that you had. And yeah, I knew you were going through it, so I figured, look, it's no time to really bash them. For those of you who have been listening, maybe there's some new listeners. Like you and I started this, I guess, last early October, maybe September.
Yeah.
And since then, we've kind of established a little bit of a podcast curse with some of our favorite teams. We've had the Phillies lose in the World Series. We had the Eagles lose in the Super Bowl. We had Ohio State lose to Michigan last year, then lose on a missed field goal attempt to Georgia in the playoff. The Sixers collapsed at New Year's as the ball dropped. You had the Sixers collapse. You had the Cowboys losing in the playoffs. You had the Phillies losing in the NLCS. And now, yet again, the Buckeyes losing to Michigan for the third straight year. As the you're like Skip when he throws out the Dak jersey after any bad game.
Oh, it was just on my chair. I just thought about it. Like that's what happened. The game ended. I took it off and just laid it on my chair. And I haven't even touched it since.
No, you don't want to see it.
I just
don't even want to see it.
Yeah. Well, hey, we might as well jump right into college ball. We might as well just jump right into it, man.
And let's talk about it.
Yeah. So going into this game, I told you, I said, Liam, we can squeeze this one out. Why can't we? Like, why not us? And I have definitely gotten to the realization that Eagles hate. I don't have hate for a team the way I have a hate for Michigan as a whole. Like I hate Philly fandom, but I hate Michigan, the team. I hate the players. I hate Harbaugh. I hate the thought of the Michigan guys. I hate the swag that they think they have of versus everybody. Like that shit to me just fucking blows my mind of how delusional they are and how they create this false narrative for themselves out there.
Playing victim for something they did. Yeah,
it makes you mean to tell me it's everybody, it's Michigan versus everyone for getting caught cheating, and there's a reason why your coach is suspended for 3. Like but we made that up. The whole public has made that fucking game up, right? But let's start from the beginning. Going to this game, I said, Liam, we could pull this one out. I have faith in our defense. I have faith in our offensive line coming back, and that was one of the biggest areas we were lacking. And McCord as well. But I was really worried about offensive line. That game showed me that we can beat Michigan. If for some reason the football gods say put us in the playoffs and we could suit up versus Michigan again, I give us that game again. I give us that game. I say we can win this game. It may go, if we play, out of 4, it may go 50-50, but I think if we play them again, we can beat them again.
Yeah, I think, that game to me came down to like 3 specific plays.
Oh, yeah.
And then one major incident, right? Which you pointed out, I think you know the incident, but when we had Dave as the guest host a couple weeks ago, we kind of made our predictions based on the college football playoff. He had Ohio State. I had Michigan. You and I talked about it last week. I had Michigan, put them in the locks. And I don't say that to say, haha, I was right. But the first play that I'm talking about, the reason I went with Michigan over Ohio State was something that you've told me from the offseason is Kyle McCord is the question mark of this team. Yeah. Now, can't rip McCord because in the grand scheme of the game, I think he outplayed J.J. McCarthy. He just did. But he had the one mistake that J.J. did not have to start that game, which was the interception, led to the touchdown.
Let's speak on that.
Let's do on that.
So watching, the announcer said one big key thing. McCord looks his wide receivers down the entire time he's playing. And mind you, you're going against college kids. Not every college cornerback is going to be like, he's looking dead at me, he's going to throw my way. Like, they're not that keen to it as if it was the NFL. NFL, he probably would have 7 picks that game, right? Because he looks down his go-to wide receiver the entire fucking time. And that's going to be something that let's see what next year holds. Let's see what next year holds for him, because if he gets rid of that, I mean, he looked down. Now, this is probably the only gripe I'll have on Mario Harrison Jr. There were a couple plays in which I was like, Mario Harrison Jr. isn't running. And on that play, just gave up. He gave up the route. It looked like he just gave up the route. And that's some shit that like will definitely get fixed at the next level. And he's probably killing himself over right now. But I mean, that was crucial. We gave the ball to them, maybe on their 30. Like they got the ball on the 30, 40. Like they were right there.
I think so.
And that's a huge mistake. And it's like, it just made me be like this fucking Mount Laurel kid. Fuck.
Yeah.
I was going, like, I knew right then and there, it's just hard to bounce back because this is a Michigan team that's hard to score against. So what was your next point?
Yeah, and again, like when these two teams are so close together in talent, it literally comes down to a few plays. That is the difference, and that to me was the first one. The second one was the touchdown/interception, whatever you want to call it. That was Michigan's second score of the game.
Yeah.
And what sucks for Ohio State is I truly believe if they rule that an interception on the field, they don't reverse it and say touchdown. That's exactly what happened. They ruled it a touchdown. You just can't reverse it. It was too bang bang. It was literally flip a coin. And in the grand scheme of the result of the review, it needs to be conclusive evidence one way or the other, and it just wasn't. But I mean, you look at what that game was. Now it's 14-3, and what it could have been of still 7-3, and now J.J. McCarthy did make that big mistake, kind of evens out. If you can go down and score, maybe take the lead or make this a 1-point game, that changes everything. But what did you think in real time versus the review? I'm sure you were screaming for like, yo, this is a fucking clear interception. Did you think that?
No, I wasn't calling for clear because to me it wasn't clear. So again, I'm never the guy that's going to bite at. I'll reach. Like there's times in which I'm going to reach and be like, where's the fucking holding? Like I'm going to be that guy at times. But for that one, I wasn't the guy who was like, oh, that's fuck. The rest fuck. Like, not really. Like, I could see it go either way. So that one, I didn't hold that to like, that's why we lost. Like, that's not a Eagles losing the Super Bowl type of call for me. That was it could go either way. Let's move on. Like, just move past it because he shouldn't have fucking caught the ball. And he shouldn't even had a chance to score like that, in my opinion. Right. So that's why I chalked that up to it can go either way. Again, a lot of these calls, it was so many close calls that they were like, if it's not caught on the field, it's not going to be. They're not going to take it back. So it's like that one I chalked up. I still don't. I never. That's a weird play. I didn't even know what you call in that. Like when that happened, I was like, "What the fuck do you call?" Like I had no idea. I actually said that last time, brother. I'm like, I don't know what to do in that situation. Whatever they say, I'll take that. Like
exactly. That's what it was. And I think that's what it was after the review too. Yeah. I mean, I don't really think I've seen. I'm sure we have, but like in the moment, don't really remember seeing a play that was that bang bang. To me, it was a touchdown. Probably would have called it the same way. Then again, you go into the booth, like the conversation when they were reviewing that definitely was like, I don't know, man. Like it could go either way. We ruled it a touchdown. Like let's go what was on the field.
And NFL is talking about this now. We need refs post game. That's something next year. I want like if it's nothing questionable. Take 2 minutes. Do we have to answer any questions? What about this call? This call? Nope. Okay, you guys are good to go. But they should have to, at the end of the game, the lead ref should, or another guy should have to sit there and say either we fucked up, we made a mistake, be held accountable. So at least the fans get something out of it, like they fucked up, they did this wrong. Like as an Eagles fan, you would have loved to fucking hear post game from the ref's mouth to be like, this is what the fuck happened. Like you know what I mean? Like that's what I want. I want to hear that kind of like mic them up and let us hear what goes down in that huddle to be like, okay, like now I know, or fuck you, or let's hold it to a higher standard. I need that going forward.
I'm with you. Like hold them accountable for when they are wrong, because you're right. All you get now is what, like 2-3 days later, the official reffing committee will release a statement, be like, oh yeah, we probably got it wrong. Like what the fuck? Like what does that do for anybody?
Yeah.
But no, I'm definitely with you. The refs need to be held accountable, and you're right. That's a big thing in the NFL right now because the refs, they're bad. They're really bad. But anyway, continuing on this game, I think the third big play, and this is the big, what I've seen Ryan Day get criticized, and you and I talked about it going in, saying, hey, if he loses this game, is he out? And we'll have that conversation, but it's just a typical hindsight is 2020, end of the half, that missed field goal. Now, for me, you had 4th and 2, you had 1 or 2 timeouts left, and you had enough time to where I think you've got to go for it. Like, you're playing this game to win.
Yeah.
You're not settling for, what was it, a 52, 53-yard field goal in 30-degree weather with wind in Michigan. Like, when you're down, 14-10, like, what are we really playing for here? Like, you got to go for the win. And instead he let the clock wind down, took his timeout, allowed Michigan to ice the kicker, in which then he missed coming off of that timeout from Michigan. But now you kind of look at it, and again, hindsight's 20/20. I'm sure he would do it again if he knew the outcome.
Yeah.
But to me, like, that can be a play for Ryan Day to say, we saw Michigan go for it on a couple fourth downs and it pay off. This was one where I think Ryan Day and Ohio State should have gone for the fourth down. Trust that your defense will keep this a 14-10 game going into half, and then try to win it in the second half.
I mean, this is something that Ryan Day got criticized immensely last year for, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't a guy. He played too soft. He would kick it on he would punt it on 4th and 2. He would never go for it, right? And I think you're starting to see the football landscape change because of your Eagles, right? They play the 4-down territory at all times. You look at the other side of it. You look at Michigan's stats. Michigan went on 4th down. We're 4 for 4 on 4th downs.
Yeah.
Right? That's the fucking difference. I thought they were gonna go for that when they kick a field goal. I think towards the end of the game, I thought they were gonna go for it on 4th down there. But Ryan Day has been questioned for those moments of like, you're too soft in that moment. This is it. This is the last game these guys are going to play. No one's going to criticize you for not being able to pick it up on dumb play calling. But you should have a play for that and letting the clock go down. Mind you, the clock went down. They iced the kicker. The kicker did a rush kick and made it, right?
Right.
So he then was like, okay, I feel more confident with this one. Take the timeout. If I come out of timeout, I'm saying, yo, they gave us more time to think about it. You don't think Henderson can pick up a first down?
Exactly.
You don't think
Henderson the best player in college football is on your team?
Yeah.
Go to
you go for it, and at the end of the day, let's say we don't score, you move closer, bang, it's 3.
Exactly.
We win the game.
At the end of the day. If you get 5-6 yards on that goes from a 52-yarder to a 46-yarder. It's a complete. I mean, it's 5-6 yards. You see it every week.
You're still a college kicker. Do I have that much trust in a college kicker? I'm sorry, I don't. Like, I'm fucking going for it. I have trust in Marvin to just throw up to Marvin, either give me a pass interference, which he already fucking did.
Exactly.
Which a fucking pass, a bomb, pass interference, getting tackled instead of
getting tackled.
Like, what are we talking about, bro? Like, but that's the soft shit with Ryan. And we're gonna talk about later my thoughts on Ryan Day, but that's one that's on your jacket, Ryan Day. That's on your jacket. Yeah. You gotta take that to heart.
I know. I'm with you, and I think so. Those were the three decisive plays. All came in the first half, weirdly enough, but then the second half, the unfortunate injury to Zach Zinter, I think his name is, the guard. He's the leader of that team. I think he was a 5th-year senior, best guard in the nation, went down. Very next play, Blake Corum takes it to the house. I listened to the guy, Joel Klatt, who calls the games with Gus Johnson, and he's got a podcast. And he was getting choked up talking about what he experienced that he never experienced before, and that the Michigan crowd just started chanting, "Let's go, Zach." It was not provoked by the PR guy. It wasn't the cheerleaders trying to get something going. It wasn't the band. It wasn't just the student section. Like, that was 100,000 people all chanting for this kid who everyone felt horrible for. And then that gave them the juice. Like, it just galvanized the team. And again, the very next play, Blake Corum to the house and flashes 6'5" for his boy that just got carted off. And again, I mean, from there, like, the emotional part of the game, them taking over, that was a huge part of the game, to where Michigan just were completely amped up, winning it for their guy.
Now, this is hard for me. This is hard because that just shows you 5th-year senior, right? 5th-year senior, that team has so many guys that come back, especially the offensive line, right? That just shows you don't see nothing like that ever for offensive lineman, for them to know your whole fucking govy, like for to know your whole government name, to be like, "Let's go, Zach." Like, if it was my guy, it'd be a special moment, but momentum gone, momentum iced. Right. Like I knew right then and there, I was like, fuck, man, like the momentum of the game has shifted. Like, we always talk I think NFL Films has what is it called? Like a next gen series that they have of like the moment of a game in which the game shifts and where you see a game change. And that was that moment. No other moment in the game did that besides that, because they now know Michigan is a team that they need a chip on their shoulder. We talked about it with the stuff for Harbaugh. It put a chip on there. Just know all this Michigan versus everyone is just bulletin board material to give them an extra edge to carry with them throughout this whole journey, just to say like we need that chip to fucking push us over the line because they haven't been able to, right? And I'm gonna talk about the playoff picture, but as a Ohio State fan, fuck that. Get the fuck up. Like it's a serious injury. It's a serious injury by all means. Anytime you hear a guy's on his way to the hospital, you know and he has a cast on, you know it's serious. But in my eyes, I was like, Michigan milked this shit. They didn't fucking hurry it up. I mean, it was Liam. It was long, bro. Like it was long as fuck. So I'm like, yo, and he had the knee brace on. Like I'm like, get the fuck up. Like let's get back to it because it's not my guy. So it's like I never, especially to a fifth-year senior, you never want to see a guy go down like that at the end of it. When Michigan has a chance to win the chip, he's going to definitely get drafted. Like that fucking blows, man. But in that moment of the game, all that shit was taken away, bro. It was like and I texted you right away. I said, it's done. This team is gone. Game is done. Like it's just that's all she wrote. It just happened to go that way for us.
Yeah. And again, like in a game between two so evenly matched teams, it takes just a couple plays, and every single one went Michigan's way for the third straight year.
Yeah,
they take it, and now that leads us into what do you do with Ryan Day? And I think we both kind of talked about like, yeah, he's got to go. I'm not an Ohio State fan. I'm not as close to it as you are. I have changed my stance, I think, and I'll explain why. But I want to hear from you. I mean, Ryan Day, do you want him gone?
So before this game, I said to you, if Ryan Day loses this game, it's a wrap, right? It's like he needs to be gone, right? But before the game, they said it's crazy that when you go into this game and everyone's saying Ryan Day's on the hot seat, to see a coach that before this game, like, he's 54-7 now, right? To be 54-7, right. Fucking wild. Like, right. It's just, it's fucking, like, it's amazing. Like, you did an amazing job as a coach, but you lost 3 to Michigan. That is a stain in which it's hard to fucking keep you around with that. You lose to Georgia because your kicker can't fucking make the fucking kick to send you to the national championship, and you probably win. Yeah. You beat TCU and you would have won the chip, right? And Liam, it's hard. I don't have an answer, but I think now, who do I want besides Urban Meyer? Who the fuck else do I want besides Ryan Day or Urban Meyer? But the thing that people I think are taking away from this game, like that aren't really thinking about, is I'm deep into Ohio State. Like I follow all the recruiting pages like that. The number one recruiting quarterback 2025 was at the game on an official visit for Ohio State, and is also being recruited by Michigan. This is 2 years in a row in which top recruits have gone to these games and have watched Ohio State lose to Michigan at Michigan, right? You lose those recruits. Those recruits now don't want to go there. So now this isn't just about Ryan Day the last 3 years. This is about Ryan Day the next 4 to 5 years. What does recruiting look like for us now? What does winning look like for us? I'm afraid that we're about to enter into the era of, it's been 20 years of dominance by Ohio State. I'm nervous that we're entering into the next 20 years of dominance by Michigan because of this. It's a fucking just bang, 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 right? You have Urban Meyer being able to walk into any state, Texas, wherever he goes, and say, come to Ohio State and pick you and take you. But now showing me that we have Kyle McCord as our starting quarterback. That is a microcosm of losing to Michigan. That is a microcosm of why don't we have top recruits after coming off of Justin Fields, after coming off of CJ Stroud. These things matter. That shit matters. And that's the only thing I'm like, Ryan Day, if you couldn't get it done with, this is 2 years in a row where I say, you look at the guy that goes to the NFL, you can't get it done with, it's the same thing I have an argument with the Cowboys. All these stars that have come to the Cowboys, all these stars that have come to Ohio State and leave without a ring, without a chip. You have Mario Harrison sitting on the ground his last game at Ohio State with a loss to Michigan because you couldn't get it done. Ryan Day, as a coach, you hold some of that to you. You have CJ Stroud, who left, is in the NFL, killing shit, breaking the curse that no Ohio State quarterbacks can translate. No chip. Fields, no chip. Like, this is the shit that, like, it just can't go on for too long. And again, Liam, I do chalk it up to the football gods or the football god, and sometimes it just doesn't go your way. And, like, that's kind of where I'm leaning towards. It just doesn't go Ryan Day's way. And is it unfair? Yes, but how much of this does it fall on Ryan Day? Like, can he not get over that hump? And that's what scares me.
Yeah, I know. Well, so that's my thing, because I think we were both on the same page months ago and during the season. Like, if he loses, he's out. When you sign that dotted line to be the Ohio State Buckeyes head coach, priority number one is beat Michigan. Priority number two, win a national championship. You haven't done either. And now, you talked about what kind of I was thinking about as well. Like CJ Stroud is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL through his first 11 weeks or 12 weeks. How do you not win with him and Marvin Harrison Jr. last year? Again, I get it. You're a field goal away that probably should have been made, but you still lost to Michigan. You still put that in your spot to then have to play Georgia in the first round. But while I think I change my opinion a little bit on letting him walk, you're right. What is the alternative? Because unless Urban Meyer walks through those doors, again, I don't think he is. There's no point. I mean, we're seeing it right now, like the rotation of these college football coaches. And sure, like there are some good coaches that are getting, these bigger jobs in the SEC. You look at like Washington's head coach is doing a great job. I know, I think Oregon State's coach just got a job. But do you really want them over Ryan Day, like a guy who's been here with Urban Meyer, a guy who's had those big recruiting classes and is just coming up short? But again, you're not just coming up short. You're coming up short against Michigan, against the one team that you are supposed to beat.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of interesting too, like what's going to happen to both these teams, to both these coaches.
Yeah.
Is Harbaugh gonna leave anytime soon? And if he does, any confidence I would think Ohio State has from Harbaugh leaving maybe gets taken back a little bit because Sharon Moore has taken over, has won 6 games. Harbaugh was not there for 6 games. They've won every single one of them, including the most important game.
Yeah.
Does this kind of show those recruits like, hey, even if Harbaugh leaves, man, like we got you. Like he built the culture. We're going to continue the culture. We may be seeing a shift in the power realm between Ohio State and Michigan because this is the first time Michigan's beat Ohio State 3 straight years and ever, or like how long has it been?
I think it was since like the 80s. I think that's when I saw it. I don't know. It might even be before that, but it's like, yeah, I just don't know who you go to next. I mean, like I said, I hate to have to be like, I'm glad for the Michigan coach to win, like because he's a black coach. So I'm like, good shit for you, but I don't give a fuck because you're versing us. But it just fucks up everything, bro. It just fucks up because it's like for like people that are like, okay, you still have Dallas. It's like I don't give a fuck about the Cowboys. Like I don't have this much energy towards it because I'm locked in for I don't know how many years, but like for the last 2 years, I've been like, we're fucking there. Like if this is my team to win a chip, like, and it's gone. It's just gone like that quick to where it's like, now we're back sitting on the couch and they're saying like we may have a bowl game versus Louisville. Like Marvin Harris is not like, I don't want to fuck it. Who gives a fuck? Like,
you don't.
I don't care about that shit. Like I'm here for we're not bowling. Like bowling is for Nebraska, for these teams who Rutgers who want to be like above 500 to go bowling. That's a successful season. This is not a successful season. Like, that's why I love college football. It breaks your heart. That's why you love it. You have a coach who's 54-6 who might get fired. You have a team that's 10-1 or whatever it may be, only one loss who won't make the playoffs. Like that's why this shit matters. And it's like I'm nervous for next year because I'm like, will we make the playoffs next year? Will we be a top team next year? Like, will we be
definitely in the expanded playoffs? Definitely. And look,
who knows?
we had crazy shit happen last year. I think you needed USC to lose, maybe one other team. Maybe that was just it. Now the chances are practically zero. Yeah. Looking over it, and again, like you mentioned, we're recording early. My guess would be Michigan's the new number 1, Georgia 2. You probably have Washington 3 and Florida State 4.
Ooh,
but it's what we
Oregon.
Well, yeah, but it's what we said on what the Final Four is going to be.
Yeah,
is like let's say Georgia wins. Let's say
let's do that right now. Let's do the playoff prediction.
Yeah.
Let's say not this week, next week, like when everything like let's say
after the conference games.
Yeah,
I think if you have. Let's just say Georgia wins, which you and I have kind of been like, I don't know, Bama may have it, but for the sake of this argument,
I'm still leaning toward Georgia now.
Yeah, I think I am too. But looking at it, Georgia, they win. Michigan, they win. Michigan's going to fucking kill them.
Michigan winner, Georgia 2.
Yeah, Georgia 2. I would say the winner of the Pac-12, whether it be Washington or Oregon, they're in. And now here's your 4, and it's between 3 teams. If Florida State wins, if Florida State and Texas both win, they probably lean Florida State just because they're the undefeated. If Florida State loses and Texas wins, Texas is in. if they both lose, that's where you guys sneak in again. Now, again, I don't think that's going to happen. You would need, like, that's a Hail Mary shot. But it's interesting because if you have Florida State and Texas both win, I would make the argument for Texas. But what say you? I think they probably by default would have to go with the undefeated Florida State team. But I think Texas is probably the better overall team.
This is my thing. You need bias. I don't give a fuck. Fuck the rankings. Fuck who has one loss or not. You did this last year with TCU, and look what happened. We had a shitty fucking championship game. Fuck that. This year, fuck it. Go off of great football. We need great football in. You got to put Georgia. You have to put Michigan. You have to put Oregon. I think Oregon will beat Washington.
I think so too.
And then FSU, I'm sorry. You just had a close game with fucking Florida. Fuck no. You're another TCU game, right? They shouldn't be in there. Washington, if Washington can still squeeze in, they shouldn't fucking be in there. I'd rather see, and this is biasy. How can you not put in an Ohio State team that lost to the number one team with a close loss? The only thing that fucks our record up is having a close win versus Notre Dame, if you want to put that out there. But it's like, how it's just not going to happen when they have two Big Ten in there. But it's just crazy to me how you see Ohio State would drop from 2 to 6 or 2 to 5.
Right, I was going to say.
That's where it's like it's fucked up because it's like Washington's had a close game with Washington State. Oregon, I think, is going to destroy Washington. Like, I think they put up a lot of points versus
they're 10-point favorites. Oregon's 10-point favorites.
I think they put up more than that. But it's like at that point, those three teams, who else do you want in there? I don't want Florida in there. I don't want Washington in there. I want Ohio, like not just as a fan. Texas, maybe, but Texas loses games like Tennessee. Like, I want you to win this game, Texas, but you guys can't get it done. Put Ohio State back in there.
Well, that's what I said. I really think if somehow, some way, Florida State loses to Louisville and Texas loses to Oklahoma State, I think Ohio State should and they will get in over Washington, who will just lose the Pac-12 championship. But if one of Florida State or Texas wins their conference championship game, Ohio State's done. They're officially eliminated. So you're going to have to root hard. You're a big Louisville fan and Oklahoma State fan this weekend.
And I think the best position to be in is Oklahoma State. Like, I think Oklahoma State could actually pull it out. But it's fuck, man. That's why you just can't fucking lose those games, man. That's why you just can't fucking lose, Ryan. You just can't fucking lose those games because now it puts you in a predicament of like, fuck, man. Like, it just pisses me off. It just
like you're praying. You're praying that two teams lose.
And it's 2 years in a row of that, right? It's 2 years in a row. That's what scares me. Then there would be like, well, we gave it to you last year, and look what the fuck happened. But it's like, yeah, we put up points because we almost beat fucking Georgia. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not just this is not this year Georgia. This is last year Georgia with like a 6-year senior quarterback. This is Georgia who has number one guy starting in the NFL right now, right? This is Georgia. Like let's be fucking real. But it's bullshit. It fucking sucks, man. It sucks.
I hear you. I know exactly what you're going through.
Yeah, I have nothing else to say, man. Hey, the one game we could say is the Alabama versus Auburn game. Now, before this game started, I was like, I gotta watch this game because the Iron Bowl always has some fuckery that happens. But at least I want to show this is the last Hail Mary throw after a must snapped that put them at fourth and goal on like the 4th and 30 or something like that. Yeah. And then also he went across the line when throwing a pass, which had like a 5-second runoff or call timeout. This is all within the end of the game. So here's the miracle throw again that happens in the Iron Bowl.
That's all it is. But there's a lot of airspace to cover for Milroe. Still looking, firing, near corner. It's caught! Touchdown, Alabama! Isaiah Bond on a 4th and a mile.
Couldn't believe it.
What a dope celebration.
Yeah.
Bond. And he holds up the James Bond pose. That's so fucking cool.
It was fucking bananas. I mean, I was watching it, like I was at the gym watching it. So I'm sitting in my car actually outside, just like after the gym, like all right, I'm not moving. I'm just locking in. I'm watching the game. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my fucking God, bro. How do you, as the Auburn quarterback, mind you, you have a 30-yard lean, like 30 yards to which you can't get beat. And you still get beat. And he throws a fucking
put it in the pocket. Yeah.
A dart, bro. A fucking dart. Now, the quarterback for Alabama, I said, yo, he's starting to heat up. He looks so fucking good, but he does dumb shit at times. And this is a quarterback that I say Alabama next year. Watch what Alabama does next year with him. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Bama's had such a weird year. The first couple of weeks they had, like, he was benched. Yeah. And we had a conversation. We were like, is Nick Saban and Bama dynasty over?
Done.
And as the season kind of progressed,
it was like he was a starter, came in, got benched, came back, got benched again, and he was benched like 3 times.
They were having tryouts during the season to see who the starter was going to be. They didn't have any idea. And then weeks went, and we kind of kept saying every week on the show, like, look out for Bama. They're creeping up. Yeah. And now I really think this game against Georgia is going to be a good one. And look,
I think so.
Recency bias of Georgia Tech, that game being close, I don't take too much stock into it. But what I do take stock in is how many of these games that Georgia's had during the course of the season where it's pretty fucking tight.
Yeah.
But then again, you have to say when they turn it up, they turn up. Like, what they play Ole Miss a couple weeks ago, and like turn it up. They play Tennessee, turn up when they need to. So it's almost like as back-to-back national champions, do you almost go through the season in second and third gear and then kick it up to fourth when you really needed to? And how many times have we really seen that from this team?
I mean, that you had a close one with Missouri, and not for nothing, versus Georgia Tech, it was 23-31. That there raised the eyebrows to be like, if Alabama wants to be Alabama, if Nick Saban wants to step up and beat
this
them,
is it.
This is the game to do it.
And then that creates an explosion on what the fuck do you do? And I said a couple weeks ago now, if Bama beats Georgia, I'd put them both in. I know you probably don't want 2 SEC schools. Georgia, it's tough to say, how are you going to put the one-loss non-conference champion in there? But to me, you have to put the back-to-back national champion, the team that's won every game the past 3 years except for one. Bama, I think, then would prove it. Like, if you had a playoff of Michigan, Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, like, those are fucking dogs in there. And I know you don't want to hear that because Ohio State. But if Bama beats Georgia, like, all hell's going to break loose. Because I can see, truthfully, I can see both. I can see both Bama and Georgia making it, and I can also see both of them missing it, honestly.
I can see Georgia being in regardless. But, but in my opinion, if they lose, you squeeze one against Auburn. Who else do you play all year? Old Miss, you beat Ole Miss 52-17. Good shit. You play no one else. You play Tennessee.
And that's the question, too, because if Texas wins, people are going to be like, how the fuck can you put Bama in over Texas when Texas beat them this year?
Yeah.
Like, head-to-head has to count for something.
Fuck, I just hate living this life, man. Fuck, I hate living this life, dude. It's just it's ridiculous. But okay, Texas, who did they lose to? I forget who they lost to.
They lost to Oklahoma.
Oh yeah. I don't fucking know, dude. I'm just gonna pray to the football gods that you look out for your boy. That's it. Because I think we can win one. Like, I think this is a perfect year where it's like, yeah, it's gonna be competitive, but like we can win one of these games. Like, we can give us Michigan. Like,
would. I think you would. Like, if you had that happen, Michigan would be the 1, Ohio State would be the 4, and go ahead. And that's what the NCAA wants too. Back in their minds.
Yeah. Fuck
the
it.
ratings. Oh my god.
Yeah. Next year, let's worry about the numbers, who's ranked what, who squeezes in. Like, worry about that shit next year. This year, give us the last year ever of true Big Ten football, SEC football, before shit just changes all over the place and rankings are crazy and it looks nuts next year. But just give us that. Hopefully it adds up. Yo, this year, next year, I saw my boy who's a Texas guy, Texas versus Michigan at Michigan. That's
really
coming. Yeah, that's so crazy, right? That's nuts. Yeah,
that is
that's pretty weird.
Texas always has those tough ones to open up. I like that.
It's week 2. It's week 2.
Yeah,
like that's nuts. All right, well we'll put it in football God's hands. All right. Fuck it. What else can we do? All right, now transitioning to the last exciting 2 minutes of Sunday that I had was watching your Eagles play. And I came to the realization of why the Eagles fans suck. You saw you guys were voted the most annoying by the NFL players.
Yeah.
And I realized that the reason I hate you guys is because you guys are the fandom is so crazy, annoying, and cocky. But during the game, you guys go silent, man. And I don't mean just like you. I mean everyone. I'll text anybody. I don't see no shit talking during the game. I don't see no post. It's before the game and after the game because you guys are shitting bricks every fucking game during the fucking game.
We're dialed in. Look, you heard the booze. You heard the booze at halftime. I don't know if you saw that, but they were because look, I told you it's a broken record every week. This offensive coordinator, and I think they were letting him fucking have it.
Oh yeah. Okay, so
yeah.
I didn't turn it on again. I couldn't watch football. I turned it on in the last 2 minutes. I was checking the scores and I was like, well, it's too close now. You need to get 2 up on the Eagles. Now it's tied. Game over. The Eagles are gonna win this one now. So I turned on when it was 2 minutes left and I saw that they had that the Bills had the ball. But did Josh Allen hear from you? Did Josh Allen hear that I had to step up and shut Liam the fuck up, but I was able to keep it out? Is that what happened? He listened to the pod?
And he must have, because look, he stepped up, and unfortunately, for all those Josh Allen dick eaters, as well as he played, look, hand up, he was awesome, he really was. But my entire argument, and this is to all those Josh Allen dick eaters that are probably going to be shoving his dick down their throat, especially after the game, all the Bills Mafia, the people on TikTok, is for you, right? Came down to 3 different plays, and this is the difference between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow when he's healthy. Now Lamar, I'll put in that. This was my argument the entire time, right? Stop putting Josh Allen in elite company when he's more like Carson Wentz than he is to Patrick Mahomes. And I have 3 different examples for you. Number 1, as an Eagles fan, when you're watching that game, you're kind of like waiting, you're waiting, especially this year. Like, this is just what they do. You're waiting for something to click offensively, and it did. And they scored the touchdown. I think at that point it was 24-21. And then your mind clicked. And you said to yourself, we're still due a Josh Allen interception. And I didn't have that thought with Mahomes when they played the Chiefs on Monday night. I don't have that thought about if we played the Ravens this year and you're down 3. Like, you're not being like, Lamar's going to throw a pick. Like, just wait. You know when I have that? And again, I'm not ripping your Cowboys, but like, I need Josh Allen more in the Dak category. You have that with Dak. Like, I have that with like a Kirk Cousins. Nope, Kirk is going to make that mistake. Everyone I knew, everyone I saw on Twitter, everyone I texted was, go get that Josh Allen interception. It fucking happened. And that's what gave them the lead. Number 2, you talk about the crazy 59-yard kick by Jake Elliott to tie the game, which is again, call me an Eagles dick eater, one of the best kicks I've ever seen in all things considered. It was pouring rain. It was windy as shit. He didn't kick all game. And the fact that we're kind of just like brushing by a 60-yard field goal is a little insane. It was an awesome kick.
He's nails.
But he's crazy. But the Bills had at least one timeout. They might have had 2 with 20 seconds left. Now, granted, 20 seconds, it's not a minute. It's not, it's not an absurd amount of time, but we've seen in the NFL what can happen with one deep ball. You just talked about it with Marvin Harrison Jr. You go deep to Diggs, pass interference, you're in field goal range. But what did the Bills decide to do? Take a knee. You're playing for overtime against the best team in football on the road when you arguably have been outplaying them. Now, what does that tell me? That tells me I don't trust Josh Allen not to make a mistake that puts the Eagles right back in field goal range and kick the game winner, and we don't even get a chance at OT. Because you know who doesn't take a knee in that situation? That says, let's have a couple of shots to get us into field goal range. We have a timeout or 2 to play with, work the sidelines, try to get your kicker in range. Mahomes goes for it. Jalen Hurts goes for it. Joe Burrow goes for it. Lamar Jackson goes for it. CJ Stroud arguably right now goes for it. No, the Bills don't trust Josh Allen. They told you he's not elite enough to bring us down the field and at least give us a chance. So that's number 2. Number 3, Eagles lost that game in overtime. Did you see the Gabe Davis throw that he missed? Mm-hmm. Could he have been any more wide open? Mm-hmm. I don't think so. He had 5 yards on.
That's not on Josh Allen though.
The throw? It's on somebody.
Yeah, it's on the wide receiver for going outside instead of in. You cut in on that. You don't go out. That one I don't put on Josh Allen. Again, It's another Eagles like you're 2 plays away from fucking losing, and no matter what, the other team just can't be perfect. Like that's what it comes down to.
And that's what you need. But I just want for all those fucking, and again, Josh Allen played great. He really did.
Yeah.
But when it boils down to it, you're 6-6, and you're 6-6 for that reason, because that's what he is.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Eagles, I really just wrote down 3 names: Jalen Carter, Jake Elliott, and Jalen Hurts. I truly have never seen anything like this. And it's been 4 straight weeks now, 2 straight weeks where you couldn't have looked worse in the first half. And I told you against
the one name on that one. You forgot Kelsey.
And well, yeah.
But
those were the 3, like,
this is the MVP of the game for me was Kelsey, because Kelsey has 2 major, maybe 3, I think he had 2 fuck ups that were huge.
The 2 false starts. Yeah.
If you go back and watch the reason Jalen Hurts scored, it's all Kelsey.
It's his block.
Kelsey is just so and I'm like, I can't fucking wait for this motherfucker to retire, because it's so fucking annoying, bro, because he's so fucking good. But look, that right there is the Eagles right now, is what the Eagles are doing, right? It's the Eagles way. It's like, okay, Kelsey, you fucked up. We'll step up for you and let someone else do it, right? Let's just say it just happens. Jalen Hurts has a shitty game. Kelsey's the offensive line is not clicking. It's the wide receivers aren't there. Let your defense step up. Let's say on all cylinders, everyone else fucks up. Here's John Elliott, who kicked a 65-yard fucking field goal like it's nothing. It's like everyone steps up when it's their time to play, and that's what pisses me off. It's like on all elements, everyone steps up, and it fucking kills me that everyone is like, I'm ready to go, and I'm that good, I can step up.
Yeah. And you're right, because that's exactly what you saw. And this first half of football against the Bills was the worst I've seen, arguably, in the last 2 years of a half for this team. And you had the defense step up enough, keep it a 10-point game. The way the Bills were moving that ball, it was a missed field goal. Jalen Carter blocked field goal. Like, the special teams were getting into it a little bit. The defense came up with that interception later. And then the offense started clicking, right? And even though the Bills were moving down the field and it was back and forth, like it was like, no. Like, you gave Jalen enough time. You gave these receivers enough time. We finally learned how to use DeAndre Swift. Again, I sound like a fucking broken record. Why he's not in there more is beyond me. But you're right. And this is the difference between, and I know this is an ongoing argument we have, but the team that I continue to think of when we were on the same page with your argument of too many close games last year was the Vikings. And I look back at their schedule last year, and they were doing it against non-playoff teams. Like, I don't know if you remember the game against the Colts. I think it was like on Christmas or Christmas Eve. They were down like 30-0, came back.
Yeah.
They played Washington, missed the playoffs. I forget who else off the top of my head, but it was like 3 or 4 field goal games of teams that didn't sniff the playoffs. The Eagles are doing it. And again, the way that they're doing it is exactly what you said. You can have one side of the ball be off. You could have 1 or 2 guys be off. But the way that everybody steps up in these big moments is literally like, I truly, definitely not for an Eagles team, but it almost, the closest thing for me, it was the Kansas City Chiefs over these past couple of years and what we've seen. And I think of the example was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It was when Deshaun Watson was on the Texans. And I don't know if you remember this game, but it was a playoff game in Kansas City. Deshaun Watson and the Texans were up 21-0. And in the back of your head, you were kind of like, nah, Mahomes and Andy Reid, like, they'll figure it out. They came back and won the game. And this is the feeling you get with this Eagles team. Like, they could be down 30-0 on Sunday against the Niners, and you would have Eagles fans be pissed and upset, but like, they wouldn't be out of it. Like, they would end up making it a 1-score game and a win or a loss. And I just don't know how they're doing it, but they just have that many guys. It's just a team full of guys that know how to win, and it's led by Jalen Hurts.
You want me to be a hater or be for real?
Both.
Okay,
give me one of each. One of each.
So as a hater, I'm gonna, until the Eagles prove me wrong, because my take last year was 100% correct. Too many close games get you fucking losses when it matters. Too many close games. This is a team who has too much fucking talent to be having close games with Washington, to be having close games versus the Bills. It's too much talent on the field that you shouldn't be having to go to overtime with the Bills. You should be able to fucking beat these teams. That's my only gripe. Because in my opinion, as a fan, you should be able to recognize that we have too much talent to where let's figure it the fuck out and beat these teams. As a Cowboys fan, I wouldn't be just taking my W's. I would be like, no, I'm nervous. I mean, as an Eagles fan, I would be like, I'm nervous. I'm nervous that we're not able just to win these games. I do not like having to have heartbreak, like having a heart attack every fucking week with this much talent in the field. Now, on the opposite end, I say this is a team who, in my opinion, I don't know if there's ever a year where it's like Patty Mahomes is not him right now. This is the year in which do you maybe lose to the 49ers? Maybe, but I still give you 75% win probability in a playoff game versus the 49ers. This is a team that can win you a chip again. But I say after this year, baby, if shit ain't looking good, if these guys start leaving, if your guy, if Cox leaves, if Kelsey leaves, if what's his name, BG leaves, like, hey, it's a different world. It's a new team. Not to say you guys would suck. I'm not going to say like you guys would be under 500, but this is it. Like last year, you guys were locked in. This year is the year because you look around the league. Who's fucking with you guys? Like, I mean, I'd rather say like, I don't want. Of course, I don't want you guys to win one. I don't give a fuck. But who's fucking with the Eagles when it comes time to that? Only thing I could say that where it makes me nervous is like you're not beating teams. Like I want to see you guys beat a team with the talent you have. But I could see you guys winning one for sure. For sure.
Yeah. And again, we'll see this Sunday. And they put
test.
And you almost put yourself in a position now where, like, again, this was the point in the season that we've talked about, that all Eagles fans have talked about since the schedule came out in July. They were like, these are the weeks that you're going to have to play the Dolphins, the Cowboys, Washington, whatever, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Niners, the Cowboys again, at Seattle. This is the gauntlet. You won every one. And now you put yourself in a position where realistically, because how the schedule kind of matches up, like after the Cowboys game, so you win one of the next two, you're the 1 seed. That's it. Like it's wrapped. And they didn't clinch it. I'm not saying they clinched it officially, but in my eyes, they did. You beat the Niners and lose to the Cowboys or vice versa, you're the 1 seed because Seattle doesn't look anything like what we thought they were going to look like. Playing there is always tough. It's always a weird one for the Eagles. Again, this team's different. But then you have, I think it's Giants, Cardinals, Giants. So after Dallas, like you have 4 wins right in front of you. Yeah. Just win one of the next two. And this is the one that I want. I hate Dallas. I am starting to hate the Niners.
It's because the household.
They are fucking dude. They are the biggest.
Only the household. It's only the household. That's why.
Not even like she's fine, but like these players like Debo. It's crazy to me that Debo, who's having like 400 yards this year and 1 touchdown, is still running his mouth. And I like they asked Hassan Reddick about it. He's like, yeah, we've heard them cry all offseason. Like, strap them up. This is what you got to do. And if they win,
it's crazy that you guys are the underdogs at home. This is where I think the NFL is so rigged and Vegas is rigged. It's because it's like
they know.
Here's bulletin board material for the Eagles. They need to be the underdogs. They have to be like you're home. Like I'm not.
I also think though Vegas knows where the money is, and it's always that recency bias. And they know the past week or two the Niners have looked like the Niners, and that they're pummeling teams. And they've seen the Eagles not be able to score for a full half of football the past 2 weeks. That I really think as non-Eagles fans, as betting fans, people are going to look at this and be like, oh, the Niners only have to win by 3. I'm fucking hammering it. I expect everyone to be on the Niners, and that's what always gets you in trouble is when that public money goes on one side.
Yeah, I'm not. I'll put money on the Eagles. I do not give. I'll take them this week for a parlay because it's like you're just giving me free money at that point because it's crazy as a fan. I know it sucks. Like there's times in which you text me like, "Fuck, bro, I don't think we're gonna pull this one out." To where I have more confidence in the Eagles to get a win than probably the fans do because you're so stressful. But it's like overtime, Jalen Hurts. It's like you just feel like the fact that the Bills didn't score first, it's like game over. Like you just lost the game. Like that's what comes down.
And that's what we all like going as the Bills drove down the field. All we were saying was like, "Yo, hold them to 3. It's wrap. It's game over. Like we won if you hold them to 3."
And that's what pisses me off. It's like this. Like I'm just taking a wild shot. Like you have 3 games in which you guys should have lost. But the teams can't play perfect. Like you have to be perfect versus Eagles.
That's exactly the thing. Yeah. And that's what you said to start this talk. You were like, the Bills weren't up by more than 10. You knew you were like, all right, now they're fucked. Like they had their opportunity. And that's where I think the Niners are a team where if you play like that in the first half, they probably will make you pay a little more. And then, the deficit's a little
it doesn't matter though, because you're
right. That's exactly what I mean.
Purdy at home.
And that's exactly what I mean. If you are down 30-0 at halftime against the Niners, there is still going to be in the back of your head, they're just not out of it. They're not. It's really fucking bizarre.
I love that Jalen Hurts is like, what can I say? Because he's like, to be honest, I don't know how we win this fucking like that. He wanted to say, I don't know how to fucking win these games.
No.
We're just pulling it out. I don't know. Tell you, bro, the football. But this is what I said. I talked to my boy today about it. When I talk about close games, I'm not really just saying like when it comes down to like toughness in the playoffs like that. I'm purely saying the football gods cannot give like we talk to football gods every week. The football gods are not going to say, Liam, here you go. Here's another one for you. And the time it fucking matters of the Super Bowl, you run out of it. Football gods say, do this on your own, Brody. Like this is all on you, pops. Like this win this fucking game. So that's where I'm coming from. My luck, my superstition. Like that's where some of it is coming from as well, for sure.
It's just it really like I don't. Again, just to go back to Jalen Hurts, like I think he had 30 yards passing at halftime. Like I'm telling you, when it couldn't have looked worse, it could not have looked worse.
Yeah, he
had 5 touchdowns. He finished with 5 touchdowns in the game. Yeah. The dude just fucking wins.
Yeah, I love the I saw a video side by side, like Jalen Hurts broke like the rushing record, like TD record for a quarterback, and they were like, here's who's had the record before him. It was Cam Newton, and I was like, oh fuck, I know Jalen Hurts doesn't give a fuck about that one. He's like, I don't care about that one. Like that doesn't mean shit to me. But it's hilarious to see that like he broke the record, but it's tush push. It's like, hey, that shit matters though.
The fans showing that, like, just tell me you don't watch football because like the amount of runs that Jalen Hurts has had to fucking earn are probably 70% or 60% of his touchdown runs versus the tush push. So that was those, again, Eagles dick eaters. I'm seeing more and more now of people just hating Jalen Hurts because like, I'm Jalen Hurts. I'm so perfect. I win football games. I'm a good looking dude. Blah, blah, blah.
I've been seeing the good looking one. They're like, every time I think I'm good looking, this motherfucker comes outside. He's like courtside at the Sixers game. And they're like, this motherfucker comes out looking great. And then there was one post that was like, this is what I was supposed to look like. But I grew up in Baltimore and drunk tap water, so like I look like this, and I was like, "Oh, this is fucking amazing!" Like, they're all shitty on Jalen because the only thing I fucking hate, and we'll end it here, is I just hate that you guys have Jalen Hurts because you guys don't fucking deserve him for the city. Like he deserves to be an American team guy, bro. He deserves to be.
He's on America's team.
No, he deserves to be on America's team, baby. I don't know what it fucking sucks. Speaking of America's team, though, shout out to Deron Bland breaking the record. That was fucking amazing on Thanksgiving. Like. No, it was the day before Thanksgiving, or was it?
No, it was Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving Day, yeah, it was. Hey, that was fucking amazing, bro. To score in that fashion. I actually watched his story. Have you ever seen his story before? Mm-hmm. Like, know about him? This guy was like not recruited, 0-star recruit, no stars. Got recruited to play at some regular D1 school. Senior year happens. It's COVID year. He transfers to Fresno State. At Fresno State, in like 7 games, has like 3 picks. Killing shit, doesn't get invited to the combine, has his own combine. Dallas selects him 5th round. Look where he's at now. So like that's the story of like any guys out there like in a high school or anything like that, like that don't have any stars. You can end up breaking NFL records like somehow like he just did. And like not for nothing, this is a guy who's balling, man. Like this is a guy who I'm like, fuck, what do we do next year? But like Diggs coming back, we still have Gilmore. Like where do we move some things around with Wilson? Like, and I'm glad to have him. He's a baller, man. And like, hey, I love seeing the team celebrate him. I love the team. Like once he caught it, I was like screaming, break the record, break the record. My dad's like, what do you mean? He has it. Break the fucking record, break the record, break the record. And it's like seeing the whole team celebrate. Like that's what I'm seeing. Like I was like, celebrate, like fucking jump into the Salvation Army. Like that's the shit that I like to see. I like to see like that Cowboy celebration that like hasn't been there, but like go jump into the Salvation Army thing. Like it brought up, Zeke and all that stuff. But like the turkey legs. Fuck that. Fuck them like in the middle of the game celebrating. Fuck them, bro. Like who gives a fuck about you guys? So that was amazing to see. But hey, it's a big week, baby. It's a big week for your guys. Let's see what comes out. I know everyone's just tuning in for that. I actually did see that you guys are America's team this year. Where like every most watched NFL game has been Eagles versus like Bills, Eagles versus Chiefs, like Eagles versus Cowboys. Like it's been that. So
and it's going to be again this week. Like everyone's going to be tuned in
for sure. When do you guys play?
What's that?
When do you guys play?
4:30.
Oh my god, I hate game of the week. Fucking 4:30. I hate that shit.
I'll be there.
Oh, you're going?
Yeah.
Are you actually going inside or are you just tailgating?
No, I'm going inside.
Ooh, Sabrina going?
Oh yeah, her and I.
Sabrina better not be pussy. She better wear her shit, bro.
She will. She will.
All right, bro. And shout. Hey, what jersey does she have? Does she have what jersey?
I think George Kittle.
Okay, that's not bad. If I was a fan, I'm getting Fred Warner. Oh, also, watching that game, I said a couple weeks ago, yo, bro, I think we could beat San Francisco. Only person I'm scared of, 2 people, is Fred Warner And seeing McCaffrey play, I said, this mother, like,
I know.
this dude, he's not a white boy, bro. Like, seeing him create holes, I was like, what the fuck, bro? He just is so quick, like, bang, 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 and gone. I'm just like, holy fuck, you guys have your shit touted out for him, because I see him ripping that defense, like that defensive line. That defensive line has to step up this week.
Yeah.
Never shut him down. You shut him down and put Brock Purdy on his ass, you guys win the game.
Then that's it. Yeah. It's the same thing as the NFC Championship game that we talked about. Like, if you get a lead and make Brock Purdy, we talked about a couple weeks ago when the Niners were on that losing streak, they need to play a particular way. They need to get the lead early. They need to pressure you, pin their ears back on defense, and then use McCaffrey and everything. If you can get that early lead and force Brock Purdy to have to beat you, done.
No, this is a comeback. We gonna see if we could have really beat the Eagles with Brock Purdy playing with no bullshit there. You're home, you're away.
They still, no matter what happened, they could beat the Eagles 50-0. They were not winning that NFC Championship game last year.
I'm just saying that's probably the payback.
But I know that's
game.
what they're gonna say.
Yeah, the payback game for sure. So let's see what happens, baby. Anything else you want to speak on, brother?
No. I think that's Sixers. I guess last thing, you text me about it. Handed LeBron his biggest loss ever.
Yeah, man, that was huge for Sixers, man. Like, I just started seeing tweets saying, like, are the Sixers this good or are the Lakers this ass? And I was like, let me tune in and watch this shit, because this is getting nasty, bro.
Yeah, Embiid's been on a different level.
Yeah. So I think that's where I'm clocking in now. Now that my football season's over, I'm clocking into the Sixers for Shorsky now. That's where I'm at with it.
Well, what about, real quick, you guys play Seattle on Thursday night. Any worry?
I can give two fucks. Hey, you may say I'm an awful fan. Tank from here on out. Lose every game from here on out, because I do not want to make it to the playoffs, have a close one versus Seattle or San Francisco, whoever it may be, have a close game, and we pull it out. Dak goes into Philly or wherever, or San Francisco, wherever it may be, and lose awful, but still say we're riding with Dak. Let's just get off of Dak. Let's just get rid of it. Let's restart. Give me 2 years of fuckery. Let's find a quarterback. Let's get Justin Fields. Hopefully the Bears takes Marvin Harrison and Caleb Williams. Fields will take you, baby, and let's rebuild from here on out. Please. It sucks because I want to win when I'm watching it, but I don't want to win because I do not want to sit here in a couple of weeks and be like, yeah, we have a playoff win, and then we win our one playoff win, or we lose it, and it's another thing of Dallas sucking. Dallas can't win a playoff game. Dallas is hyped all year. Just lose it. I can't take Dak anymore. I love you, Dak, but I just can't take mediocre play anymore. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, and look, talk about a schedule. Like, it's not as tough as the Eagles, but the one thing the Cowboys have been getting ripped for is how easy their schedule's been. You got Seattle, all right, Eagles coming in, at the Bills, at the Dolphins, and then the Lions. So you got a couple playoff teams. The Bills are still going to be fighting for a playoff, but
we maybe win 3. Maybe.
And then if that's the case, you're right. Just wrap up the season.
Please.
No point.
Please wrap this shit up, and let's just pray for Eagles loss. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all we can go for, all right? But, hey, guys, continue to support the podcast. Follow us on Instagram at WeTrust_podcast. Follow us on YouTube at WeTrust. In those We Trust podcasts. We're on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music as well. And also dropping this will already be out, but at least you can go back and watch it. Our first gym vlog, shout out to Tone. We have a gym vlog dropping, Trust the Gym, coming out tomorrow, actually, which is Wednesday, so it'll already be out. So go check that out, see a chest day, see how we get down. Make sure you follow Liam on the Instagram at
Liam Stokes 11.
Trust up, guys.
Thanks, Lee.